God put this on my heart to share with you guys as I was in my date with him last night and I was in the Word. I was reading 2 Corinthians chapter 13. So it is the ending of the letter that Paul wrote to the Corinthians. And it's kind of his final statements to them, right? And so he's talking about be encouraged, be in peace, become one with one another. But become spiritually mature is one of the first things that he emphasizes. As we're literally leaving 2025 and entering a new year, everyone wants to set goals and do vision boards or whatever it is. There's nothing wrong with setting goals for yourself, right? Goals that you want to achieve. But there is one thing that the Lord was really urging me to talk about and jot down a ton of notes. Spiritual maturity should be at the top of your list of goals to achieve each year. Every single year, and this is something my pastor talks about every year, if you look the same at the end of the year that you did when you started or last year in your walk and journey as a Christian, as a follower and child of the Lord, something is wrong and something needs to change. So I never even really focused on that when I would come across these scriptures talking about spiritual maturity. And I don't think that I really fully understood it until the last 6 months that the Lord brought me through. And I believe that's why he wants me to share what I have learned that has been such a drastic change to my personal spiritual maturity that could help others, that I'm also going to continue and take into the next year. And so he had me jot down a list of things, and I wanted to tell you what helped me. Fast. If you are not fasting, and I'm not saying when you're a beginner, there are so many different biblical fasts, and pray about it because the Lord will lead you and guide you to what he believes you should start with when it comes to denying the flesh. But fasting was probably the number one thing that just changed my life. I had never heard from the Lord so clearly, which only strengthened my relationship with him, my trust in him, which the most important thing, if you struggle with trusting in the Lord, there's going to be always a little bit of hesitation within yourself that you're not fully surrendering to the Lord. And full surrender is something I talk about constantly. And it is key to having and allowing and accepting God's peace in your life. So fast. If you're not fasting, you need to fast. Pray continually. I believe, and the Lord has shown me year after year, that persistent prayer is important. If what you are praying for, I'm not talking about asking the Lord to let you win the lottery, okay? I'm talking about, that what you are praying for is something that aligns with God's will for your life, or you've heard from the Lord. Pray consistently. The Lord has shown me that consistent prayer, that not giving up and still having hope and continuing to pray for that same thing is admirable. He admires it. So pray constantly. Talk to God constantly. Prayer is like talking to the Lord. He becomes your best friend. He is the loving and faithful Father that you can go to him for absolutely anything. Just talk to him continuously. Get into the presence of God. Spend time with Jesus every single day. I have started spending every single night with Jesus for the last, I don't even know, 12 weeks now. 12 weeks, every single day, I spend time with Jesus. And I don't plan on stopping. It doesn't need to be a 2-hour thing. The way I go into it is it's like sometimes it's a half an hour. Sometimes if we're on vacation or something, sometimes it's like a half an hour. But majority of the time when I'm at home in my secret place, it could be anywhere from a half an hour to 2 hours to an hour, 45 minutes. It doesn't matter. It's different every time. And it just depends on my time with the Lord. And you don't need to set a time limit on it, but get into his presence every single day. I imagine, if I just don't show up to my date with Jesus, I imagine him sitting on my closet floor where I meet with him every single night, alone, like I stood him up. And that imagery right there breaks my heart because he would never not show up for me. So I will never not show up to my intentional time that I set aside with him every single day. That has changed my life. If there is one thing that I can say you should do every single day, it's that. Spend time with Jesus every day. You will never regret it. Changed my life. So Spend time with Jesus. Pray. Fast. Praise and worship the Lord. There is a time that I'm struggling, and maybe it's just randomly throughout the day, and I still have my date with Jesus later that day, but I am craving the presence of the Lord. I am needing it because I am struggling. Or maybe I want him in the room with me right in that moment. Pray and worship. Praise and worship. Praise and worship is how I get into the presence of the Lord. And it's different for everyone, but for me, and the Lord knows this, it's praise and worship. I'm blasting worship music, and he deserves praise. When I am praising the Lord, it brings me to a state of gratitude. Whereas I am praising him and lifting all praise up to him, giving him all of the glory, it reminds me of everything that he's done for me. And that can change and shift your mood immediately. Immediately. It's the best thing. So praise and worship the Lord because he is worthy of it. I believe all of these things are going to help you draw so much closer to the Lord, and you will grow in spiritual maturity. And I'll end with this. Get your daily bread. Be in the Word. It doesn't mean you have to sit there and read 5 chapters. Sometimes you will. If you got the time and the Lord is giving you that hunger and desire for his word, by all means, read for hours. But on a day-to-day basis, make it a habit. Maybe it's in your date with Jesus. That's when I do it. I do praise and worship. I read my word, all in my date with the Lord. I pray and ask him, give me speak to me in whatever way you need to speak to me as I'm in the word. But get your daily bread. Even if you start your day by opening up into Proverbs and you're reading through just a handful of Proverbs, the Bible is your handbook to life. You have a handbook. Everyone wishes that we had a handbook that told you how to be successful in life, how to get through life successfully with peace, love, joy, and happiness. Guess what? It's the Bible. So when you adopt all of these things into your daily life, you will grow so much in spiritual maturity, and you will grow so much in your closeness to the Lord. It will bless your life in such a way that others will begin to see how much joy and peace that you have from the Lord. So that is what the Lord put on my heart. I know this was super long. I'm going to try to cut the video down, but thank you if you stayed this long. I pray that it blesses you. I pray that we go into this year and you are filled with the Lord's abundant blessings on your life, and that you become more spiritually mature.